Welcome to Mindset Capital TV, where mindset meets money. This channel is built for thinkers, builders, and future leaders who understand that wealth starts in the mind. If you're ready to level up your thinking, your habits, and your income, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. The psychology behind consistency. Why most people fail quietly. Everyone wants consistency. They want consistent income, consistent progress, consistent discipline, consistent results. But almost no one understands what consistency actually is. They think it's about motivation, about willpower, about wanting it badly enough. That's why they start strong and disappear quietly. Not in a dramatic way, not in failure. They just stop, miss a day, then another, then eventually stop trying to be consistent at all. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people don't fail because they lack discipline. They fail because their psychology was never designed for consistency in the first place. Consistency isn't a personality trait. It's not a mindset. It's not even effort. It's a system your brain either supports or silently sabotages. This documentary isn't about trying harder. It's about understanding the mental forces that decide whether you show up or slowly fade out. Because once you understand the psychology behind consistency, you stop fighting yourself, and everything changes. Why your brain resists consistency. Your brain was not designed for consistency. It was designed for survival. And survival rewards novelty, new experiences, new stimuli, new rewards. This is why starting feels exciting. A new goal, a new routine, a new plan. Your brain releases dopamine, not for discipline, but for anticipation. But consistency removes novelty. Same action, same time, same effort, over and over again. And to the brain, repetition feels like stagnation. So it begins to resist. Not aggressively, not consciously, quietly. It whispers, "You can skip today. You'll do it tomorrow. Missing once doesn't matter." And that's the trap. Because inconsistency doesn't start with quitting. It starts with permission. Self-made individuals don't overpower this resistance. They work around it. They understand. Consistency is not about forcing the brain to cooperate. It's about designing systems the brain doesn't fight. Why motivation always dies and what replaces it. Motivation is a spike. Consistency is a plateau. And most people confuse the two. Motivation feels powerful because it's emotional. It comes with energy, urgency, hope. But motivation was never designed to last. It's chemically expensive. Your brain cannot stay in a motivated state indefinitely. So when motivation fades, people panic. They think something is wrong with them. Nothing is wrong. They simply built a system that required motivation to function. Self-made individuals don't rely on motivation. They replace it with structure. They build routines so boring, so automatic, so predictable, that motivation becomes irrelevant. They don't ask, "How do I feel today?" They ask, "What happens next?" And that single shift is the foundation of consistency. The identity loop that makes or breaks consistency. Most people treat consistency like a task, something you do. But the brain doesn't maintain behaviors. It maintains identity. You don't brush your teeth every day because you're disciplined. You do it because you see yourself as someone who brushes their teeth. No debate, no motivation, no drama. Consistency collapses when an action conflicts with identity. When you say, "I'm trying to work out. I'm trying to save money. I'm trying to be consistent," your brain hears, "This is temporary." Self-made individuals remove the word try from their vocabulary. They shift identity first. They don't say, "I'm trying to write every day." They say, "I'm a writer." And writers write, even when it's boring, even when it's bad, even when no one is watching. Identity creates automatic behavior. This is why consistency feels effortless for some people and impossible for others. It's not discipline, it's alignment. Why small misses destroy long-term consistency. Consistency doesn't usually break with failure. It breaks with self-judgment. You miss one day, one workout, one task, and the damage isn't the miss. It's the story you tell afterward. Most people think, I messed up. I'm not disciplined. I always do this. That story creates identity damage. Once the identity cracks, behavior follows. Self-made individuals treat misses differently. They don't attach meaning. They don't dramatize. They don't spiral. They see misses as data, not identity. A missed day doesn't mean you're inconsistent. It means you're human. What matters is the next repetition, not the perfect streak. This is why consistency collapses faster in people who chase perfection. Perfection creates pressure. Pressure creates avoidance. Avoidance kills repetition. Consistency thrives in forgiveness. The role of environment in making consistency automatic. Most people believe consistency is an internal battle. It's not. It's an environmental one. Your environment quietly decides which behaviors are easy, which are difficult, and which are almost impossible. If consistency requires constant willpower, your environment is working against you. Self-made individuals don't ask, how do I stay disciplined? They ask, why does my environment make inconsistency so easy? Look at where inconsistency comes from. Distractions always visible. Friction before starting. No clear cue for action. Too many choices. Your brain avoids friction, so it chooses the path of least resistance. High performers redesign that path. They make the consistent action visible, obvious, easy to start, hard to ignore, and they make inconsistency inconvenient. Phones out of reach. Tools for work within reach. Decisions pre-made. This is why consistency feels effortless for some people. Not because they're stronger, because they engineered their surroundings. Why consistency feels boring, and why that's a good sign. Consistency doesn't feel powerful. It feels repetitive, predictable, sometimes dull. And that's why most people abandon it. They confuse boredom with failure. But boredom is not a warning sign. It's a milestone. Boredom means the behavior is no longer novel. The brain isn't overstimulated. The habit is stabilizing. Self-made individuals recognize boredom as progress. They don't chase excitement. They chase reliability. They understand. Excitement gets you started. Boredom keeps you consistent. This is why the most successful people don't look motivated. They look calm. They show up even when it feels ordinary. Especially when it feels ordinary. How momentum quietly builds without you noticing. Consistency rarely feels rewarding at first. That's because momentum doesn't announce itself. It builds quietly beneath the surface. Most people expect progress to feel obvious. More confidence, more energy, more visible results. But early consistency feels almost invisible. You show up, you do the work, and nothing seems to change. This is where most people stop. Not because consistency failed, but because feedback was delayed. Self-made individuals understand a simple truth. Momentum always lags behind behavior. The first phase of consistency doesn't produce results. It produces stability. Your brain learns. This action is safe. This behavior repeats. This routine isn't a threat. Only after stability comes momentum. And once momentum arrives, effort drops dramatically. What once felt hard becomes automatic. What once required discipline becomes default. But you can't skip the quiet phase. Momentum must be earned through repetition, not intensity. The role of time, and why consistency feels slow. Human beings are terrible at understanding time. We feel progress emotionally. We measure success visually. But consistency works logarithmically, not linearly. Early effort produces almost nothing. Later effort produces disproportionate returns. This is why consistency feels unfair. You give the same effort on day 1 and day 100, but the reward is completely different. Most people quit in the flat phase. They assume, this isn't working. I should be further ahead. Others must have it easier. Self-made individuals think differently. They understand. Time is the multiplier. Consistency without time feels useless. Time without consistency produces nothing. But when the two combine, results compound quietly. This is why overnight success is almost always a decade of invisible consistency. Why emotional management matters more than discipline. Most people think consistency breaks because of laziness. It doesn't. It breaks because of emotions, frustration, doubt, boredom, impatience. These emotions don't appear randomly. They appear when results lag behind effort. You show up, you repeat the action, and nothing seems to change. That gap creates emotional noise. Your brain starts asking, is this worth it? Am I wasting time? Should I be doing something else? Discipline alone can't answer those questions. But emotional management can. Self-made individuals don't wait to feel good about consistency. They expect emotional discomfort. They normalize it. They understand. Consistency is emotionally uncomfortable before it is rewarding. So they don't interpret discomfort as failure. They interpret it as part of the process. This is the difference. Most people try to eliminate negative emotions. High performers learn to operate while they're present. The dangers of overthinking consistency. Consistency dies when it becomes a debate. Most people overthink their routines. They analyze. Is this the best approach? Should I optimize this? What if there's a better method? And while they think, they stop repeating. Self-made individuals delay optimization. They prioritize continuation over perfection. They understand. A mediocre system repeated consistently beats a perfect system never sustained. Overthinking creates friction. Friction delays action. Delayed action kills momentum. This is why consistency improves when decisions are minimized. Same time, same place, same trigger, same action. No daily negotiations. Consistency thrives in simplicity. The daily behaviors of naturally consistent people. Consistent people don't wake up feeling disciplined. They wake up feeling clear. Their days don't begin with decisions. They begin with execution. This is the first behavioral difference. Naturally consistent people remove choice from the moment of action. They don't ask, should I do this today? Do I feel like it? Is now the right time? They already decided yesterday. Consistency lives in pre-commitment. Same time, same place, same trigger. The behavior happens before emotion has a chance to interfere. Consistent people also keep their actions small. They don't aim for perfect sessions. They aim for minimum viable effort. Because showing up matters more than intensity. 10 minutes done consistently beats 1 perfect hour done rarely. This is why consistent people look calm. They're not fighting resistance. They designed around it. Why consistent people track less than you think. Most people believe consistency requires tracking everything. Metrics, charts, streaks, apps. But excessive tracking often backfires. It turns behavior into pressure. Miss one day, and the system collapses. Consistent people track identity, not streaks. They don't obsess over perfect records. They focus on, did I show up? Did I protect the routine? Did I return quickly after interruption? They understand. The goal isn't never missing. The goal is never stopping. Tracking is used as feedback, not judgment. When tracking becomes emotional, consistency becomes fragile. When tracking stays neutral, consistency survives disruption. What happens when life breaks your routine, and how consistent people recover? Every routine eventually breaks. A deadline, a crisis, a move, an illness, a loss. Life doesn't ask whether you're consistent before it interrupts you. This is where most people confuse disruption with failure. They miss a few days, then a week. Then the story begins. I lost momentum. I need to restart. I'll begin again when things calm down. But consistency isn't proven during calm periods. It's proven during reentry. Consistent people don't panic when routines break. They expect it. They don't ask, "How do I restart perfectly?" They ask, "What's the smallest action that reopens the loop?" 1 page, 1 minute, 1 repetition. Because consistency isn't about maintaining an unbroken chain. It's about shortening the gap between lapses and returns. Most people quit because the gap grows too large. Consistent people return before the story of failure takes hold. Why consistency fails when it's attached to results. Results are delayed. Consistency is immediate. And that mismatch breaks people. When consistency is tied to visible outcomes, it becomes conditional. People show up while results appear, and disappear when they don't. This creates a dangerous equation. If I don't see progress, it must not be working. Self-made individuals break this link. They detach consistency from outcomes and attach it to process ownership. They don't ask, "Did this work today?" They ask, "Did I execute the process?" Results arrive later, often much later. But consistency collapses the moment it requires proof to continue. This is why consistent people appear stubborn. They aren't stubborn. They're process loyal. The one question consistent people ask every day. Consistent people don't wake up motivated. They wake up oriented. They don't ask themselves how they feel. They don't negotiate with emotion. They don't wait for clarity. They ask one question. A question so simple it feels almost insignificant, yet powerful enough to guide years of behavior. Here it is. What is the smallest action that keeps the chain intact? Not the perfect action. Not the most impressive one. The smallest one that protects continuity. This question does something important. It lowers resistance. It removes drama. It keeps identity intact. Because consistency doesn't break when effort drops. It breaks when the chain breaks. Consistent people protect the chain at all costs. If they can't do everything, they do something. If they can't do it well, they do it briefly. If they can't do it perfectly, they do it imperfectly. And that choice compounds. Most people think consistency is about intensity. It's not. It's about continuity. Consistency isn't effort. It's alignment. By now, one truth should be clear. Consistent people are not stronger than you. They are not more motivated. They are not more disciplined. They are more aligned. Their identity matches their behavior. Their environment supports their routine. Their expectations are realistic. Their emotions are managed, not obeyed. Consistency stops feeling like effort when everything points in the same direction. That's the final shift. You stop forcing yourself to show up, because showing up becomes who you are. You stop chasing motivation, because structure replaces it. You stop restarting, because recovery becomes automatic. And something strange happens. The thing you once struggled to do becomes the thing you'd feel strange not doing. If this video shifted your mindset, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Remember, your mindset is your greatest asset. Protect it, build it, invest in it. This is Mindset Capital TV. We'll see you in the next one.